Hello, and welcome to episode 66 of the Wine Educate podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Close, and today we are tackling the Bordeaux wine laws at the level 2 level. We are in the land of the Château, right? So today I'm going to cover some geography, talk about the climate, the grapes grown here, and the key appellations. So we're going to lay it all out. And then on Thursday, I'm going to go a little deeper into the history and how some of these really interesting wine laws came about. All right, so Bordeaux overview. Bordeaux is in the southwest part of France. The climate is really important. It is moderate maritime, very much influenced by the Atlantic Ocean and the rivers that run through it. The geography is defined by these three important rivers: the Garonne, the Dordogne, and the Gironde. And it's divided up into three sections. So you might have heard these terms: the left bank, the right bank, and the Entre-Deux-Mers. So the Entre-Deux-Mers, meaning between two seas, is the area of land that is literally in between the two rivers. So you have two rivers flowing from the central point of the country, and then they join up to make the Gironde, which flows out into the sea. So that land between those two rivers is the Entre-Deux-Mers. Now, Bordeaux is predominantly producing red wine. And from that, you have the main two grapes that we need to focus on for level 2, and those are Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon. And out of those two, it is Merlot that is the most widely planted grape. Now, I'm going to have a little bit of a movie reference here. And there are certainly some movies that have impacted the wine industry. And I would venture to say the one that has impacted the wine industry the most is the movie Sideways. Sideways just had now I think it's 21 years that it was released. Anyway, some of you are nodding. You're like, oh, yes, Sideways. And some of you are like, what is this movie? I would encourage you to go see it because it's a pretty impactful movie. So 20 years ago when this movie came out, and Miles was waxing poetic about how wonderful Pinot Noir was and how much he wouldn't drink any effing Merlot. Oh boy. Well, the Pinot Noir sales skyrocketed. People could not get enough. And Merlot, poor Merlot, has still not recovered from this slanderous movie that smeared its name. Anyway, part of the joke about the movie is that this wine that Miles coveted and wanted to save for a special occasion was Cheval Blanc, and that is from the right bank of Bordeaux and mainly Merlot. Anyway, that's a little goofy insider joke there, but I just wanted to give you some context about Merlot. It is important here in Bordeaux. It is the most widely planted grape and an important part of many blends, and can make some outstanding wines on the right bank. Merlot thrives on the right bank because of the sandier clay soils there. So these stay cooler, hold in moisture, and Merlot likes that. Now, cut to Cabernet Sauvignon does not like that. And that is why Cab is more widely planted on the left bank. There are these gravel soils on the left bank. Gravel does two things. They're well draining, meaning in this quite wet climate, the water can drain off quickly because Cabernet Sauvignon does not like to get its feet wet. And the gravel heats up during the day and releases this heat to the vines, helping to prolong the ripening because Cabernet Sauvignon needs this heat in order to ripen properly. Okay, but it's not all just red, right? We have rosé, but we also have white Whites make up about 10% of the wines grown here in Bordeaux, and they are blends of Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon. So these wines can be dry, but also sweet. We have these important sweet wines grown here in Bordeaux. So looking at the laws and the appellation system, starting with the bottom of the pyramid, we have generic Bordeaux AOC. So these wines can be made anywhere within Bordeaux and can be white or red or rosé. A slight step above that, we have Bordeaux Supérieur AOC, slightly stricter rules. So the fruit's often a little riper, the alcohol level is a little higher, yields may be a little lower, a little bit of a step up from the generic Bordeaux. Okay, now I must say, for the level 2 level within Bordeaux, they do want you to know quite a few of these AOCs. So I'm going to go through them. On the left bank, now, this is cab dominated, right? These ones I'm going to mention can be particularly big wines. Lots of tannin, often new French oak is used, and they could use some time, right? Some time in the barrel, some time in the bottle to mellow out. Those appellations are Médoc, Médoc, Margaux, and Pauillac. And as we move a little further south, we have the appellation of Grave. Shocker, there's lots of gravel here. Huh? And it produces both reds and whites. Within Grave, we have a really specific appellation that is highly regarded for its reds and its whites. The whites here are outstanding, and that is Pessac-Léognan. On the right bank, we have the small but mighty appellation of Pomerol, and then we also have Saint-Émilion. So these are Merlot-based wines that can be absolutely stunning. And then we get into some slightly more complex laws here. So we have the Saint-Émilion Grand Cru classification. I'm going to just mention it and kind of leave it right here for today, but we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this on Thursday. All right, some more important terms and concepts. The word chateau. So if you see the word chateau on a label from Bordeaux, it doesn't just mean, oh, then maybe there's a house there or one of those fun-looking castles. It actually has a real important legal term. It means that they're doing things themselves, okay? They're growing and making their own grapes from the chateau itself. Okay, these other two terms, the Cru Classé. So this is on the left bank. This was a classification that was set up in 1855 and has still a lot of importance today. I'm going to get into this really interesting topic on Thursday. And then we have Cru Bourgeois. So these are for the folks that didn't quite make the cut for the Cru Classé classification in the Médoc. And this states that they also have good quality, but not quite the quality of the Cru Classé. Bit of a teaser there, I know. But these terms are pretty confusing. I know we just covered Germany, but I would venture to say that after you get the basics down, Germany is a little easier to understand than some of these Bordeaux wine law classifications, because who needs true crime, right? When you've got the drama of the Bordeaux law classifications. And I will be getting into that on Thursday. Do subscribe to the podcast if you want to catch the continuation of the Bordeaux wine laws at the level 3 level on Thursday. And I will talk to you then.